It's time for another Motivation Friday video, and today we're going to be talking embracing who you are and your identity. Stay tuned. Welcome to the channel where we all can learn and grow together. And if this is your first time, I want to thank you for visiting and stopping by. And I want to let you know you are important. And you are welcome anytime. And feel free to always leave questions in the comment section. And I will do my very best to get back with you and even make a video response to your questions. I don't want you to hold anything back as far as anything you want to learn, and if I'm not able to answer it, then for the best knowledge, I will find a channel that maybe I'm willing to share with you and lead you in the right direction. So without further ado though, I want to get into this, and I hope I can inspire you to not be afraid to be who you are. So many times, I think even myself, I end up looking at other people who maybe even be a little bit further along than me, and I try and mimic what they do because I see it's working for them, but then sometimes it might not work for me and I get discouraged. I'm like, why is this person able to do what they're doing in the way they're doing and I'm not? Well, that's because I'm different than them. I'm me. I could take some of the stuff they're doing and take little nuggets of it and apply it to my life as far as being able to accept advice from people who's been there and done that. But eventually I got to add my own stamp to what I'm doing and find my own technique and my own way of doing it, because then the genuality and the individuality will come out in what I'm doing, and it show who I am in it. And that can even end up bringing new stuff to the table for other people. So I want to encourage you to also do the same thing, is embrace who you are. Don't be afraid to take advice, but use it and adapt it in a way that makes it your own. And when you do that, some beautiful stuff could come out of it, because then people's going to see who you are and see what you're capable of and your passion. And see, we all have our own unique identity anyways, because there's no two fingerprints the same. Our DNA patterns that makes up our genetic design there's no two the same. And whenever we touch and embrace stuff anyways, unless you're wearing special gloves or something, you're leaving your fingerprint and impression in everything you do anyways. So with that mentality, or using the fingerprints as a metaphor, we were designed to leave our stamp on along the way. We were designed to leave who we are as we go along through life, because when we touch stuff, our fingerprint is left there even when we can't see it. So embrace that. Don't be afraid to show who you are. And if people is naysayers and trying to rush you or trying to change you and not accepting you who you are, it's really, really hard. I know I've been there. I've had more naysayers in my corner than I would even care to imagine anybody have. But if people listened to the naysayers, we wouldn't have the inventions that we have. If people listen to the you can't do this and you can't do that all the time and you're doing this wrong, and just because you're wanting to be different. If you set out to grow a tomato plant and you grow a tomato plant and it's growing tomatoes and you're getting tomatoes off of it, then you succeeded. There's hundreds of ways to grow a tomato plant. You could grow a tomato plant inside a tire and just let it bush out and not string it up and let it grow everywhere like a vine plant. You could put it in tomato cages. You can, you can hang it in a upside down topsy-turvy tomato plant thing they sell in the store and grow it upside down. You could grow it hundreds of ways. So there's hundreds of ways to grow a tomato plant. There's hundreds of ways to accomplish the same thing, even including building and doing some of the stuff we do here. So I encourage you, find your own path and listen to advice I might be able to give and other people's and take little nuggets here and there, and then let your own identity go out into what you're doing. Because I'm someone, and this channel is someone who wants to embrace individuality and diversity, because it's a beautiful thing to see your passion come into your work and what you're passionate about. You see a passionate blacksmith or a passionate woodworker or a passionate chef or a passionate artist. It shows, because everything they do has a little bit of tidbit of who they are, and it makes it that much more special to the people who's viewing it. People might not notice you right now, but don't do it to be noticed, but do it to satisfy and bring yourself up. Do it for yourself. If people listen to the naysayers, we wouldn't have the nice amenities and the things we enjoy in life right now, including me being able to enjoy this cell phone I could record on to be able to bring these motivational Fridays. So be willing to take advice. Ignore the naysayers as hard as you can. It's super hard. I know it's super hard. I was at a point in my life where I was listening to all the naysayers and what you can't do and you need to do that, and I let it bother me so bad that when I moved out on my own, I felt like I was worthless and I wasn't acceptable, and I hid myself in an apartment where my family that raised me and who means a lot to me didn't even know where I was for 6 months or so, or 3 or 4, 6 months, for a good while. And I was at the point where every minute seemed like an hour of emptiness, and I was kind of just having my own pity party, and I let it bother me so much that it just controlled me. You don't have to be like that. You don't have to let it control you, but let it build you up and let it be a determination to say, you know what, I'm going to prove them wrong, but not for them, but for myself, and I am going to be successful. Because I looked back at my past, and even though I had naysayers and this and that person trying to hold me back, I still, number one, graduated high school. Number two, I graduated high school with 3 vocational certificates. Now, at my high school, 1 vocational certificate would take you 2 school years, 4 semesters in high school. I went to high school, and yes, I stayed 1 extra year because of some problems I was going through, and I took a little night school courses and stuff, and I got permission because I could have graduated on time, but I was taking the other 2. I started out with 1 vocational, I was taking the other 2 vocationals, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm gaining just as much knowledge here as if I went on to college, and no sense starting something I can't complete. So I kind of went to the people and said, I really want to finish these 2 vocationals. I know technically I'm supposed to graduate, but if I go on to college, I'm going to get the same knowledge as this, but I really want the certificates to show I completed these 2 extra vocationals. Is there any way I could actually stay an extra year of high school just so I could complete these? Because if I move on, I'm still going to be going to school, and I'm still going to be, and so I actually got special permission from the school to stay an extra year of high school, and a lot of people thought I was nuts, graduate when you could get out. But if I did that, I wouldn't have got the 2 extra certificates. If I would have done that, I wouldn't be able to say I graduated and I got 3 vocationals. One is in small engine repair, which I was able to make straight A's in. Auto service repair, which we didn't get to rebuild motors and take out transmissions. It's mostly like the brake jobs and alternators, kind of your maintenance needs that, general stuff that's probably for true automotive techs out there that's actually rebuilding engines. Most of the stuff I know is probably the gravy jobs they get in. But it still taught me something on being able to take care of my vehicle. And also welding. And I also went on to do a welding trade college after high school, which I hit a bunch of roadblocks in trying to get out there in the field and actually weld. And it just seemed like even naysayers are there saying, well, you got the knowledge, but you don't have the skill set. We need people that is experienced and got 3 or 4 or 5 years. I even went to welding shops and said, hey, I'll work for you, a couple weeks free. Give me some weld tests, let me set up your machine, take the dials down, and let me show you I can set up a machine. I could follow your basic blueprints and let me build you something and show you what I could do before you just shoot me down. And they still shot me down, but it didn't stop me. I just kept moving forward, and I ended up finding my trades in woodworking, which I'm still learning in, but I'm able to still find something that I can express who I am in. So I hope I can encourage you to do the same. I hope I can encourage you to don't be afraid of who you are. Because Wrenches and Boards says who you are is beautiful. As long as you're willing to add something positive to this world, you're willing to put your best foot forward and give life a shot, don't be afraid of being who you are. I encourage you to find your start and reach your goals. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend.